And when we seek, we will find some things when we're seeking. If we're seeking healing, and we have a strong desire for healing and a strong calling to be healed, that energy kind of goes out into the universe, what comes back to us are the parts of us that need to be healed. So if we seek healing, expect that you will be disturbed at some point by your seeking. Because we will find the parts of us that do need to be healed. We know we're doing it right if we are disturbed. We know that we're on the right track if we're getting disturbed. It's called the Logion. The Logions, these are sayings of Jesus. These are the sayings that they say came, this is what he taught, not necessarily interpretations, not the Gospels of John or Luke or Matthew. This is from the Gospel of Thomas, and the Gospel of Thomas is about the actual sayings of the man from Nazareth, which were wisdom teachings. So these teachings did not get into the traditional texts. These teachings were actually found not that long ago. I think it's in 1945 at Nag Hammadi. They did a dig there. Probably everybody knows about this, but they did an archaeological dig there, and they unearthed lots of documents, ancient documents, and part of what they unearthed were these teachings that came from the Gospel of Thomas. And the second Logion goes like this: let him who seeks continue seeking until he finds. When he finds, he will become troubled. When he becomes troubled, he will be astonished, and he will rule over the all. When I seek, I have become troubled because I've found things that I've been wanting not to trouble me. Parts of me, wounds in me, things that have been hidden. And I'm finding I want my path to take me to healing, so the path needs to lead me to the places where the healing needs to occur within me. When I find those parts, yes, I'm troubled. I become troubled. And when I became troubled, and when I still become troubled, I do become astonished when I face those troubles, I accept those troubles, I embrace those troubles. That's astonishing to experience when for a lot of my lifetime I ran away from those things. It's astonishing that what I was resisting, what I was running away from, what I was sure were the barriers and the blockages turned out to be the stepping stones. And yes, I was astonished. And yes, is there a sense of being able to rule over the all when you learn how to embrace all that is? Yes, there's a sense that you can rule over, not like control, but the ruling over the world is about acceptance and allowance and not conflict. That's how we rule over the all, by embracing all that is. An aspect of your consciousness needs to, the Christ consciousness is what this is talking about. It's the Christ consciousness that rules over the all, not the selves, not the troubled selves. Not the selves that we find that are troubled. The selves that are troubled, a lot of times, for a lot of years, They have been ruling my life because I did not face them. I ran from them. This is like the story Hal Stone likes to talk about with a woman that he worked with who had a recurring dream. And the recurring dream, and Hal Stone, for those of you who don't know, he and his wife created voice dialogue. He tells the story about a client that he had who would have this recurring dream, and the recurring dream was about a gorilla chasing her. Same dream for years. The gorilla was chasing her, the gorilla was chasing her, the gorilla was chasing her, and she would wake up. After a certain period of time working with her, he would always ask about the dream. It's kind of the way that you can monitor what's going on. Like the dream world has something to do with what's going on in the waking world, the messages that go back and forth. At any rate, she comes into a session one day and she tells how, she said, I had that dream, but it was different. He said, well, what was different? She said, this is what's the difference. This is the difference. I was in the dream. I was still running away from. I was running away from the gorilla, and then all of a sudden, I stopped and I turned around and I asked the gorilla, "Why are you chasing me?" And the gorilla said, "Because you're running away." As soon as she stopped to face her fear, she stopped being ruled by her fear. If you want to be healed, if you want to be purified, if you want to be part of the ascension, in the ascension process, things need to be transmuted. The energies that are low, that are keeping us low, need to be transmuted so we can move up the spiral. It's a spiral up. And what you find is when you spiral up, there's parts of you that are coming up that you say, these parts are stopping me from spiraling up. They're only stopping you because you haven't embraced them. You haven't learned how to embrace all that is. That's how we rule over the all. I rule over the parts of me that want to rule over me by accepting them, embracing them, and extending love to them. The part of me that is doing that is the one who practices what happens when the troubles do occur. That conductor energy, that light, that is the light. Conscious choice maker who consciously chooses to practice peace when in the midst of all the other voices wanting to go to war. It's a peace bringer more than a peacemaker. It brings the peace. That's how the peace is made. The peace garden is made by sowing seeds of peace and watering those seeds by practicing peace. And the first place to practice the peace is on ourselves.